Welcome to our video training, Cultural Diversity. In this video training, we'll review what cultural diversity is, how we can be culturally sensitive, and some best practices we can implement whenever interacting with guests who are part of a culture different than our own. Within our terminal, our guests expect the exceptional, and we are committed to delivering service experiences that elevate the travel retail experience for each of our guests. We aim to provide a quality experience to every guest every time, regardless of their background, culture, or identity. We thank you for your commitment to welcoming and connecting with each of our guests. Let's get started. As we begin our conversation on cultural diversity, I want you to take a moment to consider your cultural heritage and what you are most proud of or are known for regarding your heritage. Hopefully, thinking about this fostered a sense of pride. Don't you feel excited when you get to talk openly about your culture or heritage? Others who are watching this video training probably feel the same as you. We have to understand that a person's culture can foster joy, a sense of identity, and belonging, especially when they can express it openly and without judgment or fear of unfair treatment. So although I asked you to consider your own culture, it's incredibly interesting when we learn about cultures that are different than our own. When we take the time to understand different cultural norms or values, we can practice empathy and better understand our guests and each other. While our commonalities bring us together, our heritage and cultural identity make us diverse and more interesting. By taking the time to learn a little about different cultures, we not only show respect to the people of those cultures, but we also deliver exceptional service. To begin our video training on cultural diversity, we must first define diversity. The definition of diversity is the condition of having or being composed of differing elements, especially the inclusion of different types of people, as people of different races or cultures, in a group or organization. Diversity encompasses all the ways that we can be different from one another, but ultimately our differences are what makes us diverse. But you may be wondering, why is diversity important? When you bring together a group of people with different life experiences, cultures, backgrounds, and perspectives, it allows you to learn more and be exposed to different ideas and perspectives. Within our terminal, we welcome, promote, and encourage diversity as it fosters mutual respect and dignity and creates a great work environment for ourselves and retail experience for our guests. Now that we know more about diversity, we need to talk about cultural sensitivity. Cultural sensitivity is respecting, understanding, and valuing cultures and norms that are different from your own. When we are culturally sensitive, we can reduce cultural barriers between each other, our guests, and any other person you encounter throughout your personal and professional life. So how can we be culturally sensitive? How can you engage with someone who is different from you? We've determined a few best practices that you can keep in mind and implement so you can be culturally sensitive. As you'll soon realize, most of these ideas should feel familiar, as many of them echo the customer service we provide all guests. Take the initiative and make contact with a guest. Be sensitive to others' feelings. Be open-minded about different perspectives and views. Avoid correcting a guest's word choice or terminology unless it is directly offensive to another guest. Speak slowly and clearly. Take time to listen and engage. Do not engage in negative conversations about others. This hinders our ability to create a culture of hospitality. Although these are just some best practices that we can remember when operating in our day-to-day roles, I want to remind you of the core of our approach to cultural diversity. For us to be culturally sensitive, we merely only need to deliver the same quality service to all our guests, despite whether they seem different than you. Each of our guests deserves and expects an exceptional service and experience. For us to connect with our guests and create the hospitality culture we all strive for within our terminal, we must treat everyone with dignity and common courtesy. Even though guests and your fellow teammates are unique in their own special ways, we all have common qualities that make us all human. Diversity is not how we differ. Diversity is about embracing one another's uniqueness. Ola Joseph, author. Diversity isn't just about someone else. Everyone has something that makes them different. Whether it's a unique culture, identity, upbringing, educational background, way of thinking, or perspective on the world, We all bring our own uniqueness to the table. We want to conclude this video training by encouraging you to commit to welcoming diversity and fostering a positive, open work environment and exceptional retail experience for our guests. To help us better understand the cultural norms and non-verbal cues of some of our diverse guests, we have created a series of reference guides for you to use and refer to. These guides will help us learn about some different cultures and some best practices we should keep in mind so we can deliver exceptional service to these guests. For example, did you know that for Middle Eastern guests, speaking loudly with a rising tone isn't a sign of aggression? In fact, it shows sincerity, engagement, and interest. Feel comfortable conversing in this manner when interacting with these guests. And verbal communication in South American countries can be seen as theatrical or overly emotional. A quiet, reserved manner may be perceived as unfriendly by our South American guests. You can access these guides on the Employee Resource Center, or ERC. Now let's put your knowledge to the test. I'm about to read to you a series of quiz questions that will help ensure your understanding of the objectives reviewed during this learning experience. I will read the questions aloud, and you will have a moment to make a mental note of the correct answer to the question. I will then review the correct answer. Let's get started. Here's our first question. Which of the following is the correct definition of diversity? Diversity means the condition of having or being composed of different elements, especially the inclusion of different types of people, as people of different races or cultures, in a group or organization. Let's work through our next quiz question. From the options listed on the screen, what are some cultural sensitivity best practices? To practice cultural sensitivity, we can take the initiative and make contact, be sensitive to others' feelings, speak slowly and clearly, take time to listen and engage, show respect for other cultures, languages, and norms. Our next quiz question is a true or false statement. Being culturally sensitive allows you to understand and learn about people whose cultural background is the same as yours. True or false? The correct answer is false. Being culturally sensitive allows you to understand and learn about people whose cultural background is different than yours. Our final quiz question is a true or false statement. Diversity is important because it allows you to learn about different ideas, cultures, and perspectives. It creates an environment of respect and dignity for our teams and guests. This statement is true. That concludes our quiz. Great job! Thank you for taking the time to learn more about cultural diversity, which will help you deliver exceptional, memorable experiences to our guests and fellow teammates. We appreciate your support and effort in committing to being culturally sensitive and promoting a diverse work environment and retail experience.